Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. We would like to welcome you to the Center Hill Neighborhood Association meeting for the month of August, and glad everyone could join us. Our president, Ms. Rolanda Powell, may be joining us later, but we want to go on and get started. We don't want to take up a lot of your time, so we would like to first see if we could look at our agenda. Jason will share that. Ben will share that with us in just a minute. Okay, so we officially called the meeting to order at what, 6:32, and we would like to accept our agenda here. And I have some questions about the agenda. I'm not sure if anyone knows if we have any special guests this evening. And if there's anyone here that is a special guest, would you please let us know now so we can add you to the agenda?
Hi, Anita Harris, here on behalf of Fulton County Commissioner Natalie Hall.
All right. And we will, anyone else? Okay. So are there any questions regarding the agenda? Then may I have a motion that we approve tonight's agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda as stated.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And can we approve this by common consent? Tonight's agenda. All in vote motion say, all in favor of the motion, please say aye or yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Our agenda is accepted. So let's move on to the minutes. Our minutes are recorded, so we don't have a printed copy of our minutes. But if you would like to, you can go onto the website and review the minutes. And from there, we need to just simply move on to, do we have elected officials next? Oh no, the statement of purpose, our statement. The purpose statement, we read this every time and it has not changed. We want to make sure that we emphasize that we want to be able to promote and maintain the soul, character, ethnic diversity, and cultural fabric for all residents of Sunny Hill and surrounding communities, regardless of race, age, sex, religion, sexual orientation, or economic status, and to encourage well-planned residential and business development with community input that will ensure benefits economic growth, share equally by new and old residents alike. CHNA may serve any other lawful purpose for a nonprofit organization under Georgia law. And we will look at that later on. Can we go now to the next slide, please? To the president's report. Ms. Rolanda Powell is not with us today, but some things have occurred. And during the last NPU meeting, our president and Ms. Leah LaRue is requesting that the association send to the chairperson 5 code enforcement concerns, our greatest one. And so we'll be doing that later on. And that was an ad hoc committee that met to discuss a completion of the development plan, and that will be reviewed later as well. So now I think it's time for us to go to next slide, please, Ben. To our reports of committee. Before we do that, can we sort of adjust the agenda a minute so that we can have the elected officials? They may have to leave. Would that be permissible for all?
Usually when we have people speak is before the committee chairs.
Okay, so we'll make sure that we change that. So yeah, it is a part of the agenda. It's a special guest. So we do have with us Councilperson Dustin Hillis. He was first to join. Would you like to speak with us this evening?
Yes, if I could find my mouse there. Thanks for having me. Glad to be here. Center Hill had got kids crying in the background, so if you hear that, I apologize. But glad to be here. Not a whole lot of updates, but I have been out this week and last around and through Center Hill, following up. If you recall, I was out, did a thorough windshield, what we call windshield surveys, where I drive down every street and look at issues that the city needs to fix, whether it's code enforcement or missing street signs, stop signs, potholes, things like that. We completed that a few months ago. So now it's gotten to the time where we need to follow up on those complaints to make sure the departments have either corrected them or are in the process of correcting them and following up with those departments. So we'll be cruising around. See us, say hi, or if you have an issue that you want me to look into, please just send me an email or hit me up on my cell phone. I've given my cell phone out before here and at MPU meetings, but if you want to take it down, it's 770-313-0326. Again, 770-313-0326. And some other things that we are working on. Had a lot of complaints about Baker Road and also North Avenue, your neighbors to the east in Grove Park, about traffic safety issues, speeding and things like that. We had requested speed tables on those roads a number of times, but they did not qualify because at the time, the city of Atlanta's code did not allow speed tables to be used as traffic calming measures on arterials or connectors, which those two streets are. But we've since amended that code to allow that. So I'm planning on asking for a study for speed tables on both of those streets to try to get some traffic calming measures intact in the short term. And then for long term, I'm looking at adding those streets potentially to a project list for the next Renew Atlanta and T-Splost 2.0, they're calling it. If you recall, the voters approved a bond called Renew Atlanta and T-Splost, a transportation special local option sales tax, back in 2015, I believe it was. And that is actually wrapping up. At least the authorization for it is wrapping up. The projects on that list will take probably a couple more years to complete the total list, but it's time to reauthorize that bond and the tax, which is a sales tax again, to fund transportation and also vertical infrastructure like fire stations, parks, things like that. So I will be updating you on that. I'm kind of looking at drafting a list and listening to feedback from neighborhoods about what they want to see as far as, roadway improvements, safety improvements, and parks improvements. So again, that's my number. I think everyone has my email address. It's drhillis@atlantagA.gov. So please hit me up if you have any immediate concerns and want me to look into something as a potential project in the future. So always open to taking calls and answering emails expeditiously. So please reach out. And that's all I have, I believe. I'll be glad to take questions.
Hi, Dustin. I have a question. This is Taryn Bell. I emailed you about Baker Road. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So a couple questions. First, when you say, you said the speeding table, something of that nature, is that the same thing as a traffic study?
Yeah, so anytime that we institute something like a speed table, some people call them speed humps or speed tables, there has to be a study conducted, always stop, speed tables, and the studies are specific to whatever the request is. Like if you request speed tables or an always stop, that's what the study is for. So a study has to be done first, and it has to meet metrics, national metrics called the Manual and Uniform Traffic Control Devices, establishes those metrics. And if it meets those metrics, again, historically, we have had to get signatures from people on the streets affected. I have always passed legislation to waive that, because I mean, if a safety and speed study shows that a street needs speed tables, I mean, that's a safety issue. It needs speed tables. We don't need to be getting signatures to make streets safer. So that's always been waived. That's also been cut from the requirements as well. So it's a lot easier to get speed tables in general on local streets. And then also on now, as I mentioned, arterials and connectors, which North and Baker are.
Okay. I haven't sent you our list of asks for Baker Road, but I can send that to you.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so it's more than just speed humps. So for Baker Road, starting at HE Homes, going all the way down to Madrona. So
Yeah.
HE Homes, Center Hill, going all the way down to Madrona, which is then Grove Park.
Right.
You have a total of 10 stop signs, 5 on each side. So just imagine how long that road is, that length is. There's only a total of 10 stop signs. So one of our asks is the number of stop signs to increase. We
Okay.
also do not have crosswalks.
Right.
And right there at Madrona, Baker, well, it's where Baker Road ends and Madrona begins. There's a 4-way stop. There's no crosswalks. There's one stop sign.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's a huge safety issue. So I'll get that document to you, but
Okay.
it's way more than just the speed humps.
Yeah, please get that over. I think I mentioned in my email, I'll have a meeting next week with ATL DOT Commissioner Josh Rowan. So I'll be glad to go over that with him and get his view and advice and push for those safety improvements.
Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, Taryn's our point person for this. But I just wanted to mention I had seen a Beltline map where Baker Road and North Avenue was our corridor to the Beltline. And it makes a lot of sense having pedestrian traffic on not Donnelly Hollowell. But as it stands, there's no sidewalks. There's obviously no bike lane. Traffic is pretty fast on that road, as you know, and there's a lack of streetlights. So yeah, I just want to echo Taryn that speed tables are probably the bare minimum of what that road really needs to be an asset to the community, because there's pedestrian traffic, and it could be a connecting route as well.
Yeah, definitely, and agree. Yeah, speed tables are the minimum. Speed tables and the stop signs would be even quicker than speed tables. But we also, as you mentioned, want to get sidewalks and crosswalks and ADA ramps along the lengths of both of those roads. But that is a much more costlier thing and will take some time. That's one of the things I'm looking to add into my T-Splost and Renew wish list. How long is I've actually been working on that today. So Baker there from where it turns into South Elizabeth to Holmes, and that would actually go all the way up South Elizabeth to Hollowell. There's 1.6 miles, and sidewalks can cost upwards of $1 million per mile, and that doesn't count other needed infrastructure like curbs, which are also missing for most of the road, any kind of storm drains that need to be modified or added, and utility relocation. So sidewalks can actually get quite costly, so that would have to be a capital improvement, which is why I put it on for this proposed T-Splost renew list. And we'll be working through that through the end of the year. And that renewal, I didn't mention this, but that renewal of that tax and the bonds would go to voters, I believe, in May of next year.
Dustin, I have a question, and I'm sorry.
I was
Jason, were you finished?
I was just gonna say that's excellent news. Thank you for adding it. I think that's a great way to get funding for it.
Definitely.
Thank you, Jason. Dustin, my question is, there are a few grants that I have noted that would be of assistance to Center Hill. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
We
you're
all
fine.
have children.
I know how
You
it
guys
goes. I've got
know how it
3.5-year-old and a 1-year-old. So.
So I was just wondering, like, when you talk about sidewalks and just some of these other costly necessities, the grants that the city offers, because there are two grants from Fulton County that I'm looking at for our association, but the grants that the city offers for infrastructure, are they often used in neighborhoods for stuff like this, or?
So yeah, you can definitely use multiple funding mechanisms. The hardest thing is just getting them all to line up, because some grants have time restraints on them. But if they need to be broken up into phases or something like that, they can be used as matching dollars and things like that. So definitely not just looking at T-Splosh and Renew, but grants, other funding from the feds. I'm hopeful that the city will get some of the infrastructure dollars that the feds have been talking about for months now, that will hopefully be passed. Because we have a huge infrastructure backlog in the city. So yeah, definitely multiple funding mechanisms can be used, including those grants.
Okay, my last question is, when Georgia receives money from the infrastructure bill and then Atlanta receives money, how will residents be able to see where exactly and how that money is being used for infrastructure?
I haven't heard officially, but I would imagine, as many of you may know, we have an actual Department of Transportation in the city of Atlanta now, which we did not have until last June, or June of 19. And they have actually put together a new website where you can look at T-Splosh and Renew and their other projects. I don't have the URL in front of me right now, but when I get off, I'll look for it and type it into the chat. But I would imagine they would use something like that. One, to on the front end engage neighborhoods and MPUs about the projects they would want to see, and two, keep them updated on the website. So I'll type that into the chat box when I get done.
Thank you, Dustin.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you. We, first of all, children is a sign of growth. And so we appreciate what you're doing, because we are planning on growing in Center Hill. And you've always been helpful in helping us to get things like code enforcement completed. So we would may also have to call on you again, see if we can get with Josh Rowan regarding to meet with GDOT, because we want to make sure that the community is in on the feedback for the changes that are going on with Hollowell Parkway.
Yeah, definitely. That was another item I've been looking for an update from GDOT on that. It is actually, I don't know if I've mentioned this at a previous meeting, but it is actually on their website as a project now. So it was always great to talk about and hear about, but once you actually see it in black and white on GDOT's website, it's a true actual project now. But I'm working with the state to try to get some updates as to timeline and next steps and et cetera.
Because they promised us meetings for provide feedback in the months of August and September. So we haven't heard anything, but we'll be getting with a lot of Bicycle Coalition as well as Josh Rowan, see when they will provide information. We want to make sure that the community is aware of those meetings. So we thank you for your assistance always.
Definitely. That'll be a topic of conversation at my meeting with him next week as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Miss Anita Harris, we would like to hear from you now. Are you still with us?
Yes, good evening.
Great. Good to see you again.
Good to see you also. And it's great to see, well, I did see Ben at National Night Out the other day. It's unfortunate that the rain kept most of us indoors. We did hop around to quite a few of the events, and I did see Ben. I don't think I'd seen anybody else from Center Hill the other night, but it was great at least to see him in person for the first time since 2019. Yeah. I don't have much to report on today. I would like to share that we are planning Vice Chair Hall's annual Joan Garner Walk and Health Fair, which we didn't have last year, obviously because of COVID, but we did have in 2018 and 2019. We were having it in Washington Park previously, but this year we are going to have it in the new Rodney Cook Senior Park in Vine City. We are expanding it, hopefully in terms of the programming, and the save the dates should be completed by next week, and I'll get those out to you all once we have them. But please know it'll be October 30th from 10 to 2. If you or anybody you know in the neighborhood has a business that is in the health and human services space, a restaurant, and you would like to take part in this event, please shoot me an email. We are not an event, it's a free event, so, and it's a government event, right? And so you won't be required to pay vending fees. We will actually pay you for your service and to provide your service to the community. So if you're interested in joining us on October 30th as a vendor, please shoot me an email. I'm gonna drop my information in the chat. And you guys all know how to get to me, or the vice chair if you need to, by email or phone. And I'll stick around for a little while if you have any questions in case anything else comes up.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening.
Ooh, okay.
And are there any more special guests, elected officials? If not, we will move to our report of committees. This is one of the major parts of our meeting. So I think a beautification committee is the first one. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Miranda, are you here with us today?
I am. Good
Great, good to see you.
evening. Good to be here. So we had a small cleanup on Baker Road on July 17th, and that was great. So thank you guys for those who participated. We are planning a pretty large cleanup effort for this month on August 28th within NPUJ. So that's our neighborhood planning unit. We're trying to get all of the neighborhoods together to do a really large cleanup effort. So we're going to focus on the Joseph E. Boone and Westlake area, that interchange. We're hoping that we can set up at Allen Temple Church, but the exact location will be dependent on the church accepting that. So be on the lookout for emails and postings on Facebook or Nextdoor with the exact location. But you can save a date for August 28th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're going to be partnering with Bellwood Homes, who is a developer that's coming to Center Hill. I actually also need to reach out to you, Miss Anita Harris, to see if you guys can help us again. So we're going to be partnering with some other officials. And we need high school volunteers too. So if you guys know of any high schoolers that are in need of volunteer hours, this is a good opportunity for them to get a couple of hours. And then also just to go ahead and instill some ownership in them regarding their community at a young age. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Miranda.
You're welcome.
And we'll move on to our next committee report. Is that education?
It's a communications.
Communication, great, from Jason. Jason, I have a message from a Miss Joan Vernon from the English Avenue Committee. She was with us this evening. She's working on some engagement sessions, and she would like to invite the Center Hill neighborhood to attend. So it's asked me to share my contact information, but I would like for you to be able to let her know how she can get in touch with you as well, so that the entire community will be able to be informed.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to share my contact information with her.
Would you do it so that, you know, afterwards, because I'm not, her name again is Joan Vernon.
Joan Vernon. Joan.
She's here with us. You see her?
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah, so Miss Riddick just reminded me that I need to check orders on the website. It looks like I've got a few orders to fulfill. Yard signs are here. Both Aaron and I have them, and they're free for anybody who has paid their membership dues. So continue to distribute those. Also, just recently, our website is getting established. We're number 4 on Google for Center Hill, Atlanta. So we'll get more visibility there. One thing I'm planning on doing to improve that is just an about Center Hill. I noticed that was lacking on the site. We talk about the organization itself, but not about the neighborhood. So just some of the general data around Center Hill, number of residents, and that sort of thing, which I think will help us out even more. And other than that, I don't have any other real updates.
All right, great. We thank you. Is Antavius with us this evening as well?
I think he was on a flight.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Uh,
He's really
um, he-
dedicated then.
Yeah, he was trying to get on, but I,
But we thank you
um,
all for your work and keeping us up to date. And
yeah,
I
and-
think Rhoda
and-
had expressed how she appreciated the notice, early notice. So thank you all for your service.
yeah, and he's still co-chair, and still working on transitioning him to be the full-time chair.
Well, I love you all co-chairing. And Deborah Williams is asking, is there a way for her to be able to get a yard sign?
Yes, it's me, Deborah. We or Aaron as well. We both have them, and if you're able, next time you're in the neighborhood, or you're you can just pick them up at our house.
And
No
she's
worries.
returning
Email
them.
it in the chat also, so you can just let me know if you'd like to pick one up if you're closer on my side.
All right. Ben, next committee, thank you for your report. And the next committee meeting,
Yeah, the next is zoning committee.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Taryn. I am the chair of the zoning committee. For urban gardens, that ordinance has been passed, officially recognizing urban agriculture within the city, provides protection to the urban gardens and designates urban gardens as producers. So this is great for the city of Atlanta. The city has a goal to ensure 85% of
Eric,
residents.
Terry, can you wait just 1 minute, please?
Sure.
Miss Tiffany Reddick, would you please mute your phone for us, please? We are getting a little feedback. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The city has a goal of 85% for residents to have fresh fruit, 85% of residents to have fresh food access within a half mile by next year, 2022. So this is great. This ordinance officially passed. So this is good news for the city. Next slide, please, Ben. Also, and I'm sorry, Ben, can you go back to the previous slide? I wanted to drop this link in the chat for you all in case you wanted more information about urban gardens within the city. So Ben, if you click on urban gardens in blue, the link is there. If you could just drop that in the chat. Thank you. And then you can go on to the next slide. So what Ben just dropped in the chat for you all, it gives you more information about the ordinance for urban gardens within the city of Atlanta. So it's a fact sheet actually. So it gives you all the information you need. Okay, so updated requirements for agreements between Park Pride and community gardens. So this is specifically if an organization or an association has a garden, adopts a garden, or creates a garden within a city park. So this is specifically for that purpose. So if you have a garden within a park in the city of Atlanta, Park Pride will essentially govern that garden. So there are different rules that you have to adhere to. Park Pride will, whatever MPU the garden and the park are in, Park Pride will inform that MPU, not for permission, but just to let them know that you all do have a garden within the park of your community. The organization and Park Pride have to have an agreement, a written agreement, and that agreement will be reviewed annually. So if you would like more information on that, then the link is right there as well. If you would like more information on on this specifically, you can, the document is here and you can check that out. So there are big changes possibly in terms of zoning for the city of Atlanta. So Atlanta's comprehensive development plan, municipalities update their comprehensive development plan every 5 years. There are major zoning changes that have been proposed. There are quite a few that residents are not happy about, and I have listed those few here. Reducing minimum lot sizes for single-family properties, which would allow a developer to subdivide a lot into smaller pieces and build multiple houses or homes on that lot. Allowing small apartment buildings, 3 to 12 units each in single-family neighborhoods within a half-mile of MARTA station. So this is a proposal for this is a part of the comprehensive development plan. So this is what's being proposed. Also permitting accessory dwelling units. Those are essentially tiny homes. Also garage apartments or guest houses on all single family properties within the city to make them easier to build on single family lots. Many residents are in favor of this because we often discuss density, but many residents are not happy about this. Ben, if you go to the next slide. Also allowing flag lots, which are new lots created when a narrow flagpole size strip or land is carved out of one part of a property to allow for a long driveway to lead to the back of the lot where a new home is built. Under the city's current laws, a special use permit is required to create a flag lot. Also in city-wide minimum parking requirements. Thank you, Anita, for that. So like I said, many residents are not happy about this. What can you do if you feel like this is not what you want for your neighborhood? There will be one more public hearing on this matter, and that will be on Monday, September 27th at 11 a.m. I do not know if this meeting will be virtual or in person. I will know prior to this meeting so I can inform you guys at our next neighborhood association meeting. But if you would like to save the date, it'll be Monday, March 27th at 11 a.m. This will be the last public hearing in regards to Atlanta's comprehensive development plan. So if you are not happy with anything I just mentioned or anything else in regards to the plan, and the plan is public, you guys can just type in Atlanta's Comprehensive Development Plan 2021, and you will see what is there. I believe that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Like, go on, Ben.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, were there any questions on any of that? That was a lot of information to digest.
It was a lot.
I didn't have a question. I have a comment. Well, maybe a question, because when we're talking about the garage lots, is that saying that they may be able to put another, I guess, structure as a garage with someone living in it behind the house that's already existing?
Yes,
You know that?
essentially. So that could be a guest house, it could be a tiny house, but yes, another home, another residence, yes.
Yeah, I've looked into this a little bit. It's already available for lots zoned R4, R5. I think that Taryn, it sounded like they're expanding it to all single family, so all R zonings. A guest house doesn't have a kitchen, but an ADU does have a kitchen. And yes, it's essentially a separate dwelling unit for rental, in-laws, aged parents or vice versa. And it must be smaller than the original structure.
Yeah, and I believe it's a requirement. I think you can only go up to 750 square feet for that ADU, for that structure.
I think these are some serious concerns for residents. I'm not sure, but there will be some concerns for me. So we definitely want you to keep us posted on these meetings. Maybe we can get an update at our next meeting about what else is proposed, hopefully.
Yes, ma'am.
Go together,
Also I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Hattie.
You go on.
I just wanted to remind everyone that the last public hearing for this is Monday, September 27th at 11 a.m. And I will be sure to get the location for you all. I don't know if it's virtual or in person.
We'll need to mark our calendars now.
Yes, ma'am.
So we thank you for that. Before we leave the zoning area, there's someone that joins us monthly. Mr. Eric Pinckney. He's with the Microsoft project. So if there's anything you would like to say to us, we know that we're not in the Grove Park area, but if there's anything you want to say to us now, or maybe you can have it as an announcement later, we'd be glad to hear from you.
Thank you, Ms. Calhoun. I was gonna wait the announcements. I did announce during the NPUJ meeting that on August 25th, Integral is hosting an official community engagement meeting. It will be virtual, be held by Zoom. So I'll be sure to get you the link. It's intended to last between 6 and 8 p.m. The first 90 minutes will be community only. And then Microsoft, some of its officials will join at the last 30 minutes of the meeting. So that's on August 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. It'll be a Zoom link, a Zoom meeting. That's all I have for tonight. Thanks for recognizing.
Thank you, because I've noticed you've been a part of us for the last several months, and we appreciate you being here with us. Well, Ben, I think it's your turn now, right?
Well, actually, the next is the Education Committee.
Okay, Rhoda.
I was unmuting myself. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to all new members. I'm really glad. At one point when we first started, we said we welcome all the new people. So, and what I'm doing is a part of what PTA does. We welcome the newcomer and we invite the stranger. And as school has started back today, I'm sure a lot of you are going like, yay! Woodson Park, as I can see, thank you, Ms. Addie, for that. They're going to have an opening on August 27th. So I hope you all can attend. So tonight I'm going to talk about my favorite subject, PTA, which stands for Parent Teacher Association. It's also near and dear to my heart because in 1897, Phoebe Apperson Hearst and Alice McClellan Burney founded the PTA, and they were both from Marietta, Georgia. In 1926, Selena Sloan Butler founded the National Congress of Colored Parents, and she was also from Atlanta and went to Spelman. PTA merged together in 1970. I think it's one of the oldest child advocacy organizations. It's 120 years old. Now, some major opportunities, there's a lot of opportunities in PTA that people don't realize. There's an emerging minority leadership conference that's held annually in Washington, D.C. And what that does, of course, is give minorities an opportunity to go and learn about our legislature, learn about how government works, and of course, become a leader. We have in the state, well, in most states, we have a legislative committee. And what that committee does is get face-to-face with your legislators, your representatives, your senators, and they lobby for child rights. Of course, like we have lobbied for child labor laws. PTA was involved with that. PTA was involved with the lunch programs that your children may enjoy now, involved with school safety. PTA also knows a lot about how to incorporate 501c3. We have developed diversity training as well. So PTA also helped create kindergartens. So a lot of the things that our children and our schools enjoy and the community enjoys is done through PTA. And it's everyone is welcome. And if you have a strong PTA, it really drives the community and the school. So I encourage you all to learn more, ask me more, love asking about it, love talking about it, because I think working closely with our PTAs in our community area can really do a lot to help us out. Like a lot of the projects we have, you've got PTA volunteers who are eager to jump on those projects and get the kids involved as well. That's my Sermon for tonight, PTA.
Well, thank you, Ms. Rhoda. I would like to say that, yes, we join you with trying to make sure that the parent voice is heard in our schools. I worked with signing parents up for the PTSA on yesterday morning at Douglas High School. Of course, we all know there are some concerns about the administration at Douglas High School. But today was the first day of school, and there were some concerns I think I heard at the beginning of the meeting. So we have a parent here, first grade parent, Miss Erin.
Yep, first grade.
Okay, tell us about
Uh,
Ethan today.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how many other folks on the call are parents, but obviously the school is part of our community. So it should be important to all of us. And no first day will be without hiccups, but there were some very serious concerns that I tried to raise prior to the first day. And it was quite eventful. I will say, in speaking about the traffic along Donnelly Hollowell, it is going to be increasingly more important that that project gets underway. I don't know if anyone tried to go down Donnelly Hollowell this morning when classes started. The pickup drop off began at between 8 and 8:30. I believe that was the time. Now it's been a really long day. But traffic was seriously backed up even an hour after that. The pickup line this afternoon, I waited in for just over 2 hours and I was the 5th person in line. School did not, I believe it was 3:30 because I went up there and saw Ethan playing on the playground. Nonetheless, just over 2 hours being the 5th person in line, and I still did not have my first grader. We were not allowed to enter the campus. Okay, I understand there's COVID concerns, but obviously with a new building and young children, I think there could have been more done in the way of communicating with parents what the day would actually look like, what their process was. Apparently we were supposed to check out the children, but that was not communicated. So they had to go car to car and ask, what's your student's name? Then radio them over the PA system and one by one bring them to each vehicle. That's a lot. That's a lot. I did not know Ethan's teacher's name until 9 p.m. last night. And the only reason that happened was because I text messaged his kindergarten teachers and said, what can you tell me? Because I've heard nothing from the school and I'm not comfortable just dropping him off at the front door. And I don't even know his teacher's name. So I got a text message from his first grade teacher around 8 o'clock last night. It was like, hi, I'm Miss So-and-so, looking forward to seeing your son. There are a lot of things that just, I feel a lot of balls were dropped. And from what I saw, a lot of the parents did extend a tremendous amount of grace to the administration because I know that they have an uphill battle this year, but the communication is simply not there. I was told that, you should have, anyhow, long story short, I've spoken with just some other folks in the community, and I think it is worth us bringing our shared experiences together to understand where some of the areas of improvement are and finding the best avenue to share this with administration so that we can be partners in this. Because this was a very, very, very disappointing first day. And I don't think any of us want that for our school and for our students. So Rhoda, I'm going to take you up on whatever offer I can to
Please.
provide more context to some of this. I don't have an email address for the teacher. If Ethan didn't know, then I still wouldn't know. We were supposed to get uniforms today. That didn't happen. It's a lot. And I really feel for the residents that live along that street, because no doubt they were blocked in their homes for a solid 3 hours this morning and afternoon. So I will get off my soapbox, but anyone else that's interested in just helping us improve this, please reach out to me because I'll be reaching out to Rhoda and hopefully we can make some changes.
Great. I definitely am. And those days remind me of North Atlanta. And it was the PTA that made it go a little bit smoother. but I only had to wait 30 minutes to pick up my kids every day.
Wow.
I,
Wow.
I
And it
hate this
got
stuff.
less, it got better.
I'm glad that Mr. Pinckney is on here because we were, Microsoft would be, I'm not sure if they will actually begin a new school with their project, but there's some concerns about the school. I reached out to them during the last school year to see if someone with their safety officers would participate in the committee. We have the Donnelly Hallwell Safe Streets Committee. I received no response. And I think Aaron and I both have tried to go on the website to see about the Go meetings. There's no information there. It's a lot of information that we don't get from the school. We try to communicate, and there's a lack of communication. So I'm not even sure if they had open house today. I mean, this week there were the other schools did, but we need to make sure that we work with the school to see that it's going to be the best thing going for our students. I think Ms. Anita Harris stated for us to reach out to the Atlanta board representative in a meeting that we had during the summer. I spoke to, that is, a representative would be Miss Arletta Bolden, I believe, is a Bolden. And in the meeting, I talked to them about how this school in particular did not have summer school, whereas the other APS schools did, and our students weren't allowed to participate. She didn't know that that occurred, and one of the representatives from North Atlanta made sure that she took note of that. So I'm not sure if reaching out to our representatives is the best thing. We may need to look at other persons to represent us, since there will be some elections coming up soon. But if no one else has any questions about the education committee, we'll move on to the next one.
I can just share, and I'm really sorry to hear that you didn't have a good experience speaking with a Reddit in the past, but if you email me, I'm happy to connect you to her as well to see if that helps you gain some momentum, because certainly your APS board rep should be able to assist when you're having these kind of issues.
One of the situations with our school is that our school is a partner school. We're still trying to figure out what that is. Is it a charter school? Is it a partner school? We talked about the transportation not being what it needs to be for our students. We're not getting the response we need from our representatives nor from the school. So our hands are almost tied at this point.
No, not tied. I'm always going to think of solutions. So email me anyway. And if we have to go directly to the superintendent or whomever we have to go through to assist you to help you get answers, we'll do so. So Aaron or whomever, if you guys can compile an email with what's been going on, what your concerns are with the school, where I'm happy to assist you with trying to see if we can get some forward momentum on getting these issues addressed.
Well, thank you, Ms. Harris.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate your help always. All right, so that is the education committee, and we now move. Ben, I think is that you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so next will be an environmental committee update. I don't have an updated slide, but I'm going to post this on our Facebook page. But on August 28th, from 9 to 10, the Georgia Autobahn is going to be sponsoring a Center Hill Park bird walk, and it's going to be focused on how to be a citizen scientist for birds. And what this will include is basically there's an app that you can download with the Georgia Autobahn that you can help identify birds, and it goes into their master database and it starts building a list of the local bird inventory that we have in our park. So they kind of do some training on that, how to help identify the birds. But that'll be from 9 to 10 a.m. on Saturday, August 28th. And it'll be over on the Wood Street entrance on the back part of the Center Hill Park. That they'll also the Georgia Autobahn provides some breakfast snacks as well. And they'll be adhering to the CDC COVID-19 guidelines. So you need to wear your mask and be physically distanced. But it's a free program. The Georgia Autobahn actually will be offering this citywide. So we will theoretically have guests from other parts of Atlanta that'll come over to view the birds. There's a lot of avid bird watchers that like going around to different parks so they can see different types of wildlife. So I'll be posting that again on the Facebook page, and if anybody has any questions, just let me know.
Any
All right.
questions? Before we move to finance, the next committee would have been the public safety
Right.
committee. It's the open position, and with all that's been going on in our community lately, we need for someone to see if they would like to step up and connect with our public safety department. Uh, we we've had some situations. I'm not sure we need to go through all of them. We're trying to partner with NPUG, Miss Ola Reynolds, who works with that Donnelly Hollowell and James Jackson Parkway. The incident that occurred on James Jackson Parkway is NPUG and not NPUJ. It's no longer it's Armand Park and not Center Hill, but it's adjacent to us. And we need to see if we can do some things. The police did go by and try to make a stance in that area, but it's probably back the way it was before the incident happened. And so we want to make sure that we can get caught up on the safety issues within our neighborhood. So if anyone wants to be a sort of work with us on the public safety, we really need you to let us know and we get started with that. Okay.
Miss Abby, I have a quick question. For public safety, does that include traffic safety?
That would be a good question because some organizations have a transportation committee. I'm not sure if it needs to be a part of it. It could be, but right now we might need to look at it that way. And if it needs to be separated later, maybe we could separate it. But with the issues that are coming with Holloway Parkway, maybe we need to combine those two and work with that together. What do you think?
I think that's great. I'm asking because my mom and my son were involved in a car accident right there on James Jackson Parkway yesterday. I'm grateful that everyone's okay, but it's just a lot of traffic safety measures that I think need to be addressed.
Well, hopefully someone would pick up that area and work with us on it. Any more questions regarding public safety, because it is a big issue. Right. Maybe we might need to have the major to participate in our meetings or something like that. We'll work on that. We're going to the next committee report. Finance, Aaron.
Okay, yep, that's me. Part of my tardiness in getting that slide updated, so that balance is not correct. It's been a day, but as of yesterday, our balance in the Center Hill Treasury is $899. So thank you to our neighbors who have been making use of our website, getting their dues in, purchasing t-shirts and all that jazz. But please continue to make use of that and getting your dues up to date and making sure you're a financial member of our organization. And we have not incurred any expenses as of yet. So let's keep it that way as long as possible. Keep the money coming in and expenses going out very low. And that's all I have for today.
All right. So now we're at the area where we have unfinished business. And the first area would be the Bylaws Committee. And the Bylaws Committee has met. We have not completed all of our recommended changes to the full body. We can present some now if we would. Do you think we're ready to do that, Ben? You're the chairperson of the
we could show and go ahead and do some of that if everybody has time. All right, so we'll go through this. This is the bylaws, Center Hill Neighborhood Association bylaws. There were some areas where we've done some edits. Let's see, these are highlighted in the yellow. So membership section, any person of voting age who resides, owns property in, or owns a business in, or operates a business in the Center Hill neighborhood is eligible for membership in the organization. Then we identify all members in good standings. are to have paid annual dues as established by CHNA. Dues are to be prorated quarterly for new members joining during a fiscal year, and the monthly fee will be assessed for each month as a member. We did some updates in the definition of the meetings. And kind of read over that. And then we have some voting.
And I have a question for Article 3B.
Yep.
So I wanted to know, so it says special meetings requiring the vote of the membership body may be called by the president, secretary, or a majority. I wanted to know if we could add vice president,
Okay.
just because it jumps from the president to the secretary, and that
Yeah,
would,
right. And we can do that. Yeah, because for some reason, you're right. If the president was not available, then you're right. You should default to vice president. Secretary or a majority of board of directors. Okay. We have Article 4, voting. Down here, this section D, we removed discussing about using paper ballots, because obviously paper ballots was what we were using when we met before COVID. So we removed that requirement, because when we do our elections over Zoom, it will obviously won't be a paper ballot. It'll be a online vote. Sort of like what we did for the officer elections last year. We did some renumbering, just kind of arranging some of these articles in a better order.
and we'll now have 2 treasurers, right?
Yeah, there'll be the receiving treasurer, and it outlines those, you know, that function of the receiving treasurer. They'll be authorized to receive monies and sign for disbursements. So like membership dues and you know, if we were paying out for whatever incidental things we need to pay out. And then there'll be a recording treasurer, which the recording treasurer shall keep the official financial records. So sort of like the books and the supporting documents of all income and expenses. So the recording treasurer really is kind of be the more behind the scenes, just to make sure all the books are together. And the receiving treasurers are sort of the person that'll help, as it says, receive the monies and sign for disbursements. Parliamentarian assists in the drafting and interpretation of bylaws and rules of order and the planning and conducting of meetings. So I don't believe we don't currently have a parliamentarian per se. Down under Article 10, the committees, we sort of outline here the standing committees. And then we also put a little bit more definition around if you're a standing committee chairperson, you shall be appointed by the president of CHNA and serve for the current fiscal year or until their successors have been appointed. A majority of the committee members shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of this business. And then standing committees, we have the zoning committee, communications committee, education committee, environmental committee, public safety committee, finance committee, Entertainment and Events Committee, which I believe we currently have an opening, and then the Beautification Committee. Then we further outline non-standing committees. So the yearly non-standing committees will be the Bylaws Committee, and they'll review the bylaws annually for any possible need of revisions. And then there'll be a nominating committee that'll provide a slate of candidates of officers for the annual election. And say just everything else is intact, and then we'll update the effective date of the bylaws if we vote to adopt this set of bylaw changes. Any other questions on that?
No questions from me as of now, but I may have one in which I will email you and Miss Addie.
Okay.
That'd be great. And for
I
anyone
have
else, has
I've got a question about membership dues.
Sure.
I don't think we're currently doing prorating. I think it was up in the
Yeah.
top section.
Yeah, it's in the top. Where's the prorated? This thing is down a little more. Now let me find it. Yeah, here we go. Section D. All right. Yeah, dues are to be prorated quarterly for new members joining during the fiscal year, and the monthly fee will be assessed for each month as a member.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's what we're doing now.
Well, we're not. This is a recommendation. You know, this will be updating the bylaws for next year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what should you think it should read, Jason?
I don't know what Aaron's system for it is. Aaron's probably the one keeping best track of it. The simplest to implement is your membership starts the day you pay, and then it's up to you to renew it every year. Or we keep track of who's renewed it and their renewal date.
Yeah, that was going to be my suggestion. And especially thinking about going forward for the new year, we need to keep it as simple and clean as possible. Yeah.
So are you saying it'd be like a monthly fee and they start, or are you
Yeah.
suggesting it's like a rolling 12 months if they want to pay for the year, so to speak, that it would roll into the middle of next year?
Yeah.
It rolls forward. If I pay for a membership in July or August, I'll be a member until August.
Yeah. This was started because when we first started, a lot of people weren't paying the dues because we started Johnny B. Moore Tower, and a lot of people weren't just, giving money. So we're like, okay, we'll break it down to make it easier for you. Plus the fact I was begging for money for copies and other stuff, and the residents there were just great about it. So we just started doing the dues that way.
I see. Then adding a provision for a monthly option as well. You can be up to date if you pay for the month, which is $1.
Right.
That'd be my recommendation, because I don't know how I'm going to implement prorated quarterly or the website.
Yeah.
Oh, website. Okay, that's the technical side, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm also interested. We've never set a budget for anything, like a budget for, when we have meetings and we provide the meals for it, or office supplies back then. Now it's virtual. If you want to upgrade Zoom to something, there's never been a budget discussed.
That's a good point, Rhoda. Just about spending money, provisions about spending money. How do we decide on
We
expenses?
might need to we may need to see if we can have the treasurer to present a budget
Uh-oh.
at the end of the year for approval.
I'm sorry, Erin. I didn't mean to make
No,
a
that's
word.
fine. That's the point. And it's also, I think it would encourage just some kind of foresight with the various committees of what do you envision doing this year and what is that going to cost? Otherwise, it's hard to anticipate that. Thankfully, we're in the position now where we don't have any expenses and we've operated very lean and shifted to everything virtually, so it hasn't handicapped us. But the budget would be based off of the committee chairs and their anticipated needs. So it's not, no need to apologize for me. That work is distributed equally across the committees there. So, but it's good food for thought.
So I guess if we roll back and just go back, circle back to address the membership rolling dues, is that, so from a web integration perspective, that'd be the easiest, but I guess for a tracking on the treasurer side, that would be fine as well?
Yes, that would.
Okay. So Ms. Addie, do we want to take a motion from the floor that we will amend this to include that the membership will be a rolling annual dues versus?
I think what we might want to do, since we don't have to vote this month, we're supposed to vote next month, right?
Yeah.
So what we can do is sort of go back
Okay.
and add all these changes, send
Okay.
out information to the full body, and then next month we can have a vote on the amendments. How
Okay.
about that?
All right. So I'll make that recommended change and then we'll get those sent out. And I'll also add about the role of the treasurer also be to help prepare an annual budget proposal based on feedback from each of the committee chairs.
Excellent, Ben. All right.
All right. So
I have a quick, sorry.
yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I have a quick question.
Sure.
I just wanted to know when membership needs to be renewed, do we receive an email? How does that work?
That's a possibility. Yeah. Not currently, no, but that's. I think Aaron and I should sync up on how we're keeping track of the membership roll, and there's plenty of good ways to keep track of a date.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other suggestions? All right. Well, thank you very much. That was really good. I think, this will be a good revision that'll get us into next year. And then each year, it should be part of our process just to continually review the bylaws and make improvements year over year to just keep making it better. So thank you. I'll have the action item to get this updated and send it out, and we will put it on the agenda to take a vote next month.
Hey, thank you all for taking the time to do this.
Yes, thank you, Chairperson Ben.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Miss Addie.
So it's your slide says here, we will vote next month on the recommended bylaw changes. Okay.
Thank you.
And the next slide, Ben. We're gonna move to this quickly.
Nominating committee.
Nominating committee. This is important now because we need to make sure that we have our members of the nominating committee now. Last month, our president asked for me to serve on the nominating committee. Did we receive any other names? And who else would love to be on the nominating committee? You could nominate yourself for a position if you would like. So we need at least 4 more people.
Yeah. Miss Addie, I can be on the nominating committee with you.
Okay. Anyone else? Rhoda? Jed?
Okay.
Joan? We want some people
Certainly.
that haven't been involved yet. We want to make sure everyone is involved.
Of course.
Any-
I'll do it.
Rhoda? Anyone
It's
else?
always fun to work with you guys.
Okay. Anyone else? We hadn't seen Jed in a while. Glad he's back. If you would like to be on the nominating committee, then you could just simply email me or Rolanda, and we'll definitely have you because we were meeting pretty soon because we need to come back with some names. So please, if you would like to be a part of it, we would love to have you. Okay. All right, next slide, please, Ben. And it just says that what the nominating committee will be doing will be reviewing interest requests because we will need to send out during this month some interest requests for the nominated persons and compile a slate of officers. And then the month of October, Ben, we will present a slate of officers and their interest statements to the full body and open the floor for additional nominations. That's all we do. It is a non-standing committee, which means once you finish with this this project, we're done. So we need your assistance for perhaps 2 months, 2 to 3 months. That's all. We really would like for you to reach out and be a part of it. All right, then next slide. I think maybe that's a duplicate.
Yeah. Next. All right.
Aaron, Taryn, is this anything we need to discuss? Because it was from last month.
No, I thought Fred from Centric Development was going to be here. It was on the agenda that Rolanda sent out yesterday, but I don't think he's here. Fred, are you here? So I don't have anything else, Miss Addie.
Okay. Oh, and this is the next slide is very important. As mentioned earlier in the president's report, we are charged with, there was so much discussion regarding code enforcement needs during an earlier NPU meeting this year. So we need to present to her 5 concerns. Now I found, someone has shared with me, well, my greatest concern is number 1, where there's an operation of a business within the residential area. We've been looking at this for the last more than a decade and nothing has been done. I've emailed, what they call it, code busters and everything. Nothing has been done. So when I get ready to list this, I will send it to our NPU president, Elizabeth Williams, and also to Miss Leah LaRue. And so the 3 others were shared with me as well on from Church Street. One is a burned resident or burned building, and it's open. And there's a dumpster sitting there on the property, and people are continuing to dump on the property. Even a toilet sits there. And there's another home at 667 Church Street where the overgrowth, there's persons that are living there, but the overgrowth is so large that you can only see the front door because it has a raised, elevated front door. And then another one, very area in the same area is severe overgrowth. Is there a 5th one that anyone would like to submit for this month?
Okay.
Yes.
And if not, if you don't have anything now, you can email me at acalhoun.
I have something, Miss Addie.
Okay.
A lot of construction is being taken place in Center Hill without permits. Miranda sent me 3 addresses that I have to report, but there's a lot of construction being taken place without permits. So that's a big deal.
Okay,
It's
if you
almost
want to
like
send those to us, what you can really do is go in and add it to the slide, and I'll just copy it. Anyone, add it to the slides here.
add it to the slide.
And I would copy them and send them. And we're not going to take any off. It said 5, but since we didn't send any out last month, and during the meeting, the NPU meeting last month, there were very few concerns about code enforcement, but we know that that it is numerous areas. We will simply give them 10. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Miranda, you're saying that it's not a CDP? Can you go back and say that, Miranda, please?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we can obviously fix. I was just saying the meeting for the comprehensive development plan, the last meeting, that September 27th, is at 11 a.m. So, I mean, unless you are able to, I guess, schedule that, or, you're at a desk where you can maybe do that, that's kind of impossible for a lot of people to attend.
And that may be by design.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that it's probably on purpose.
And Aaron, will you still go back and add that to the slide here? Not Aaron, Taryn, add that meeting to this these announcements slots?
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, so that we'll have. So we're just saying
Also-
that. Mhm.
I also think as residents, we need to make our voices heard about the time, because I agree 100%. The majority of working people, how can we get to that, be a part of that at 11 in the morning? So I feel like there needs to be another time offered. So I don't know.
We can start with Dustin Hillis.
Right, I'll send an email to Dustin Hillis about that, because that's definitely not equitable.
Okay, and Miss Jackson is saying, can you have a petition to take with you? And I think he said, is it going to be Zoom or is it going to be in person? We didn't know, did we?
We didn't know.
Rhoda, your hand is up. Okay, I'm not sure she's there.
Right.
All right, so does this exhaust our meeting now, or there's some other things we need to cover? The last one.
Yeah, this last slide is just some announcements. Save the date. So August 23rd will be the next MPUJ meeting at 7 p.m. And September 3rd, the next CHNA meeting at 6:30 p.m.
We want to make sure we see you back here.
Yep.
We still would be Zoom or Google Meet.
And then there was, here's some important community contacts, various departments and different contacts. Code Busters is on here. Permitting information, property information.
And we keep these here, and so you can go back and check with them because they're important. You may want to reach out and contact some of these persons regarding your needs. Is that it, Ben?
That's it.
Okay, well, we don't want to hold you all long. We know that we enjoy everyone being with us. And Jed, we just want to say hello to some people that we have not talked, like Mr. Wright, DeMarlo Wright. Hi, Jed. Good to see you again.
Hey, good to see you too. Sorry, I stepped out for a little bit to deal with my dog, but I've been listening to most of it.
Okay, and Gail, glad to have you back with us too. Joan is with the English Avenue community. Okay, and so we someone is saying something. Go right on.
Miss Rhoda has a hand up. Is that on purpose?
I think she must have left it there because I called on it and she wasn't there. So we want to hold anyone any longer. We're gonna end this meeting at 7:50 tonight and hope to see you again next month and continue working with us, and we're gonna make City Hill the best community in the city. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
So long, everyone. Have a great night.
Good night.